The Causeway podcast.
Right, it's Johnny.
It's Ollie over here.
It's Jake over here.
Over there. So, how are you two doing today on this fine Saturday evening?
Decent. I just got my phone run over on the road.
Your phone was ran over
Yes.
on the road?
It was on the road. I was cycling.
Yeah.
My phone fell in my pocket. And, okay, so I have these Bluetooth earphones, right?
Right.
And if they get far away from my phone, it starts like cutting in and out.
Gotcha.
So I didn't even notice. I was listening to music while cycling on a main road. My music just starts getting like cutting out every now and then and it suddenly just stops. And I'm like, oh shit, I must have shot my phone.
Yeah.
So I start walking back along the pavement and like I can hear it get like cutting in and out less and less and like getting more and more solid.
Right.
And then I see it in the middle of the road and go grab it.
It's like a GPS tracker. Like,
Yeah,
very
I
close.
literally used the music to find the phone.
So your phone was actually ran over?
Oh yeah, it had been ran over.
Oh my god, that
Oh,
screen.
yeah.
Wow.
For our audio, for our video listeners.
No, that screen is, that's definitely had a car on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, but it still works completely fine. It's just.
It won't though. Like it's fine. When you first get the scratching, it just seems to ferment just terribly as time goes on.
I'll get my screen replaced as soon as I can, I guess.
You don't have the money to get a screen.
I don't.
replaced.
I
What are you
really
talking
don't.
about?
I have
Fine
£10
instead.
to my name at the moment.
Yes.
Let's talk about our financial situations. Ollie has £10 to his name. I have
12.
£5 to mine.
I was just saying to tend to make it easy. I have £12.
That makes you
£12?
seem even poorer. You know that? Right? It makes you seem poorer.
Ladies.
£12. Wow, you're minted.
Impressive. And I found that £12, again, ladies. I literally had to scrounge through my room, open all the drawers, like
Oh, is that when you found 40 quid and then spent all of it on vodka?
half of it.
Half of it? Okay. That's better.
And you drank all of that vodka in one night.
Yeah. And then I spent the rest at spoons, I'm pretty sure.
Christ.
Again, ladies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if that's quite what I'd do if I found £40, but
It's not a
each to their
sensible
own.
person would do, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's
Whatever.
it's all right. So Jake, what did you say your financial situation was?
I've actually halved Ollie's net worth. I'm looking at £6, ladies. So
£6.
You're in the
Goddamn.
mood for a man who cannot pay for your meals, cannot pay for
Oh wait,
anything.
that's 2 meal deals.
That is 2
That is a
million.
cheeky date.
If you're looking at the McDonald's saver menu, that's actually you're minted.
Exactly. That's 3 mini dates, just saying.
Yeah, you get
Ladies.
you get a McDonald's hamburger each. That's £2. That's 3 dates.
Yeah. Not too bad.
That's quite impressive.
too shabby.
I could get a whole relationship going. It depends on how many dates you have a year, of course. But
Ooh.
if we spread them out, I could really.
What you mean, one every 4 months?
Yeah. I could get
Okay,
something
what
real
is
blossoming.
classed as a date? On a
They're
date,
like those
you-
fruits, those shriveled.
But as in, like, would you say
Your
you have
audio
to go
listeners,
out-
you may laugh now.
Would you say you have to go out and do something as a date, or like?
No, you don't. You just have to be fucking hanging out in a romantic setting.
What's a romantic setting? Is that like
Anywhere
candlelight?
with me. Anywhere with me is a romantic setting.
Is this
for
a
these
romantic
girls.
setting? Oh, for these goats. These goats? These goats. I turned into a fucking that guy from South Park there. Drugs are bad. Jesus. So this isn't a romantic setting.
Because I'm here, it is. That's the raw.
But
sex
we aren't
appeal
these
I have.
girls. I mean, I know about your raw sex appeal. What are you talking about? You know. Wow.
You could be girls.
As for my financial situation, I think I'm sitting on a fat 20 right now, actually.
Ooh.
I'm kind of minted.
Ooh.
I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Fat 20mm.
My guy's worth 40.
It's why a fat 20 millimeter.
I
I'm
got-
sitting on a fat 20 millimeter.
My guy's got 18 years into life and he's worth 40 cigarettes.
My face went. I mean, like,
I mean, I'm worth 10. I know 20. so-
why are we measuring our worth in terms of cigarettes?
That's the only thing
It's
that's
most,
valued.
Siggy back brain.
it's the most nitty fucking. Anyone got a shiggy?
We shall rule the world.
Fun story about nitties. I had
Give us
someone
your life
came round
story.
here. I had like 2 or 3. I would call them
Undesirables.
undesirable people.
Undesirable.
People I wouldn't want again in my house. And literally to the point where someone had 1 cigarette left over, 1 spare. He throws it on the table, he says, "You can have it." They start fighting over it. They literally like jump, like they all grab for it. I like reach out for it, But like by the time I've reached halfway through, someone's got it, and they're like, he's like protecting it, shielding it. Everyone's like literally almost clawing at him, saying, "No, I want it. I'll pay you not £10, like £1 for it and stuff."
They
like
don't
that.
have £10.
Yeah, no, none of them got anything. Wow, that's bad. I mean, I don't know if I could ever get that excited about some tobacco.
Is a fat crackhead a bad crackhead?
Oh,
Because surely they're not spending enough money on crack. And is the
does crack make you lose weight?
well, because you just only buy
They
crack.
get all like skinny and like.
They get
Well, because you don't buy money.
Well,
Don't buy money. I meant food.
They made the
food.
stupid mistake of not buying money.
No. It's on my criminal record now that I said that.
Like, if a fat crackhead came to talk to you at school, when they sometimes do those assembly type things, I'd kind of be like, what the fuck? This isn't
I'd be like,
crackhead.
You wouldn't believe him.
You wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, you're not a crackhead.
Because you're not spending, your life isn't devoted, because crack is almost like a religion.
Well, they make like your cheekbones show, like your thing that goes.
Well, I suppose you're just not a crackhead then. You're just a what? You say a crack?
A user of crack.
A cracker.
A user of a crack.
A crack user, yeah.
You can write that on your CV if you wanted to.
A casual crack user.
I consider myself
Yeah, a casual
a
crack.
social crack user.
just say that in an interview. On occasion, I do cracks.
Every now and then I like to crack one out.
You like
No
signing
pun
up.
intended, boys.
You like signing up for social media. It's like asking you if you smoke, if you drink, and then it's like, do you do crack?
Socially.
On occasion, when the situation permits it. No, crack is not up my alley, but close to crack.
Crack really fell off though. It's replaced now by like the opioid crisis.
I don't know what opium.
It's kind of like it's basically like heroin and synthetic heroin. Because in the 80s, a lot of communities got addicted to crack.
Opium's quite a hippie thing, though, isn't it?
Oh,
I think
no,
so.
it's not the way these white people in fucking.
No, I think
Ohio
opium,
do it.
but opioids aren't hippie. I think he means like opium, like from the poppy flowers. Like.
Oh, are they different?
Opium's just heroin.
Is it?
No,
Yeah,
I think
opium's
heroin's like refined opium.
It's not. It's. I'm
No, I think it's right.
No, because heroin you can just make a fucking anything as long as you got your poppy. Is a fucked up.
I see. Right. Well, I've never particularly considered doing opium, so I'm not a
Neither
hippie.
have
So
Don't lie on me.
Name drop.
well, what do you mean name drop?
Name drop.
I'm Bennett.
You're bent.
So now you've said your
That
first and
and
your
Bennett.
second name. You
Oh,
said your
shit.
first and second name in the space of 30 seconds.
Well, I said my surname in the last one, so.
You said your full name in the last one multiple times. This man. He's like Batman, but just a shitty Batman. He's like Batman, but instead of doing the top half of his face, he does the bottom half. And he's like, why does everyone recognise me? It's like wearing a coronavirus mask. Why does everyone know who I am? I've always wondered that, like, in the superhero kind of world, why... I mean, I get the idea is like, oh, Clark Kent, Superman puts on a pair of glasses and suddenly no one... it's goofy because it's not realistic.
Yeah.
But who the fuck came up with that idea? I mean, I'm sure we could look up who actually came up with that idea, but like...
But
it just
why
seems
they
like,
came up with that?
it seems like such a bizarre thing. Like,
I think a problem with superhero identities is they're fucking jacked. They're supposed to be dorks. And it's like one of those Spider-Man films, I'm like looking at this motherfucker and I'm like, you'd steal my girl, bro. And it's like Superman, he's supposed to be this, no one pays any attention to him, he just sits in the mailroom.
Yeah, but he's got massive broad shoulders.
Yeah, he's fucking like 6'4", fucking yoked, 285 or some shit.
you know, everyone would be asking about his like
Yeah.
training and shit.
Yeah.
I know, I get what you mean. Like,
What'd you bench, bro? What'd you bench?
I suppose there's some superheroes that like aren't quite the same thing. Like,
Batman must be in the comics, he's so huge and like, how is he just walking around in a fucking suit? And
In a
how's no
business
one,
suit,
how's
going
no
to
one just fucking
meetings and
sizing him up and going like,
And
Yeah,
no one
that's
expects
Batman.
a CEO to be that.
yeah.
yeah, people are definitely looking at him and going, yeah,
And his fucking
that's
jaw,
Batman.
like you're gonna be like, that's Batman's jaw.
That is Batman's
Yeah,
jaw.
he does have that.
Especially Commissioner Gordon, you've seen him all the time, and he's seen Bruce Wayne. He's gonna fucking hell.
Well, what we're saying actually is that Marvel Comics, you guys should like hire us, to be honest.
Yeah, we
because
could come up some. Well,
We
I don't
can
think I
look
could,
up
to be honest.
all of the drawings of muscly men, and we can determine what would be realistic and what wouldn't. That is our area of expertise.
yeah, we do love
Take your
looking at
shirt off, we'd say.
we do love looking at muscly men. That's
Would
for sure.
redraw all the superheroes as just skinny men
Yeah.
to make it more realistic.
Yeah,
I think that kind of
not to help our ego.
yeah. I want to identify with Batman.
Yeah.
because that's
struggling on the 6th pull-up. I'm like,
no, because you got a point, because the whole identity of Batman is that his superpower is that he's jacked, and he has a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So because none of the
Which is
stunts
mind.
that he do,
It's his mind and his gadgets.
but none of the stunts that he does would because he doesn't. What do you mean his mind? He doesn't do
if he
anything.
had the
Well,
mind,
you
he'd be
know.
fucking Mark Zuckerberg. He's obviously jacked as well. Like that is a big
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of it. You can't beat the shit
He's
out of people.
athletic,
Like,
I guess.
He's more than athletic, bro. What's that guy benching?
You know.
Let's
By
ask
the way,
him.
speaking of superheroes, I looked up the other day. You know, like Tony Stark, his canon net worth is like 30 billion or something. And you think if Marvel Comics thinks that's the Tony Stark from the film Iron Man, who's able to build fucking nanotechnology and like rocket ships and shit like that, fine.
It's like Elon Musk, like 60 billion at the moment.
Well, Jeff Bezos is 174 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I don't know if we should be looking at the economies of Marvel comic books.
This is in the
No, but you know what I mean.
superhero universe where all that stuff is possible and easily obtained, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
but like, I suppose you know what I mean, right? Like,
yeah, it's unrealistic for him to have like secret
Is he
underground
a
bunker
billion? It's
rockets.
a
and
lot
stuff.
of fucking money.
Not to build secret rockets underground.
I suppose
A billion.
He has more than a billion.
No,
How
but
many did
do you know
say
how
he
much a rocket
like
costs?
30 billion.
It doesn't cost a billion.
It
They make lots of rockets. Sort of.
NASA paid like SpaceX $2 billion per refuel.
Well, I don't know.
or
I
something.
thought you meant just fucking military rockets.
Oh no, I mean like spaceship rocket type things.
When's he building
Especially
them?
like high class.
He does, doesn't he? Didn't he build?
Yeah.
Well, no,
He
he
just makes his little suits and he's like,
And not even one
Nice
just
penthouse.
designed to get to space. One designed to like get into space, fly around in space, like navigate through like asteroid fields
well, he
and
probably gets
return.
some
that's
nice,
Star
he
Wars.
probably gets some
No,
nice
but, you know,
government loans because
yeah.
he's saving everyone. The US government will be like, well, we're spending
probably gets tax breaks, to be
680
fair.
billion a year on our defence budget.
and
Let's
this
pay our
motherfucker's
boy.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does definitely get tax breaks.
Well,
for sure.
I mean, to be fair,
He's
actually,
not
no.
paying tax, he's a billionaire.
I mean, no. To be fair, thinking about it, like thinking about it, I mean, how much of Jeff Bezos's 170 plus billion is expendable? I mean, how much of it is he never going to spend? I kind of get what you mean.
No, but that's his net worth. So that's not in his bank balance ready to spend. That's like invested in all of his companies. They need that to like stay afloat and make their purchases on a day-to-day
I don't think
basis.
Amazon's
and all
going
that.
anywhere soon. I don't think.
No, but they still need that much money to operate. They can't just operate with no money in their accounts.
But he gave himself something like a $400 million bonus check. He's taking a lot of the money home with him. That's what makes him so different to a lot of these billionaires. Is he has a lot of money.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a lot of money, but I'm
No,
saying
no,
a lot of that
I mean,
is nested in his
I mean,
companies.
comparatively with other billionaires, he's
yeah.
like, why is this guy taking so much? He's literally one punch man. He's a bald, just.
I knew that was coming around. Well, what was the picture of Jeff Bezos? No, it was where he looked like. No, it was him looking like some like other bald character. I can't know if I find it. I'll show you a lot later. He's I suppose he's an interesting topic because when you think about it, I mean, Amazon's great, but you think about how many other companies are doing like legitimate good for the world and like where Amazon actually sits on that list and then how rich he is in comparison to some of these other motherfuckers. He's like, I don't think he should be the richest man in the world. I mean, don't assassinate me, but like, you know what I mean? He deserves to be rich, but the richest man in the world.
Google, Amazon, I think they need to be broken up. They have no competition. Who is their competition? They need to be. When a company gets
Well, like,
so
do
big,
you use Bing?
No, I fucking.
Then
don't
you
use
don't.
Bing.
If you want to create competition, use Bing. Use an
That
alternate
is
site
such a
other than
fucking
Amazon.
stupid argument.
How is
to
that a
make.
stupid argument?
Because if the world uses Google and you go, well, Jake, just use Bing, get some competition going. No, they need to be broken up because they have so much market share. They buy out all these other companies.
They haven't bought out Bing.
You're right, they haven't.
They
bought
don't
out
need. It's because they don't need to buy out Bing. It's because no one gives a fuck about
they're
Bing.
not threatened by Bing.
No,
the fact they changed.
Ask
That's what I'm
Jeeves,
saying.
though.
No, but they've gotten to that point because they were clearly the best option. So
They
people
are
keep using them.
100% the best option, but at what stage is the corporation too big? Do you just let them go continuously until they're bigger than countries?
Monopoly. That's
so
reasonable.
retarded.
That's reasonable.
So there's no competition. What if there's something better than them, but they can't? Because there's 100%.
Who determines what's better? Better. The market does.
Not when everyone has grown up using Google. Not when it's just something that is ingrained in you, in ads, in everything, in movies. Go, oh, just Google it. Google it. Google is a fucking verb now. They say,
I know.
Google it. Do you think DuckDuckGo is going to be coming out of nowhere like this is a better service? It's when obviously I agree with you, there needs to be competition, but when a company gets so big, it automatically becomes anti-competition when you have that much market share.
But that's the thing. Like, one of the things I think we've seen in a similar situation being the TV industry. When you look at the progression of the TV industry and you look at the fact that in our lifetimes, in the last 18 years, how much that whole environment has changed, and how a company can essentially arise out of nothing, Netflix, can have exponential growth over a few years, can go from barely being known to being essentially in the same way a verb. And then Disney, one of the biggest corporations in the world, can go, I want to do that now. And I guarantee you in a couple of years will be as big as or bigger than Netflix.
Yeah, that's one thing I agree with. Disney buying out all the branching, like Disney owning Marvel, Disney owning Pixar. Blah, blah, blah.
They're essentially beating Netflix just because they want to. They're entering into Netflix's market. They're not stealing the idea. I mean, it's not Netflix's idea, but I mean, like, they haven't had to do this gradual process that Netflix has done, and they've essentially gone on a whim. We want one too, and they're going to win just because they're Disney. And that's what Jake means about like household names. Is if Google decided to make a fucking streaming service. I mean, Stadia was a flop, but that was shit. If they did a film streaming service, a legitimate one, they too could rival Netflix or beat Netflix just because they're Google or because they're Disney, because they're Amazon. They just, you know?
And it's also, Google already owns so many companies. Everything you can do on a computer, you can do it through Google if you really want. They own something in every single fucking field of technology.
I mean, how do you combat that? You just say, oh, you're not allowed to branch out. You're not allowed to grow your company. You're not allowed to expand it.
No, you're obviously allowed to grow your company.
So then how do you combat that then?
I'm not saying it's I want an extremely, like, I like healthy competition's good for everyone. Obviously it's good for everyone. But they get so much control of it that they can start, maybe paying off Congress, or they're paying off, like, I think they're doing some shady shit.
Yeah.
When you have like nearly $1 trillion, Apple's worth $2 trillion.
Are they?
That's their market cap, $2 trillion, the biggest company in history. That's more high GDP than tons of countries, and it's
Apple's a weird one.
A private corporation should not be able to.
I never think of Apple being like on par with Microsoft and with
they're bigger by
no?
fucking huge amounts.
Well, no.
When I think Apple, I think only iPhones. That's all they're really.
The thing is, when you think about Apple, like, Apple wins in a few areas that just put them infinitely ahead of any other company. When you think of, I know you're saying iPhones, and I say iPhones are definitely not, iPhones are their biggest product. They're definitely not their only product.
They've got like MacBooks and all that stuff. Yeah.
But when you think about the phone industry, the smartphone industry, the debate isn't iPhone versus Samsung or iPhone versus Huawei or whatever. It's iPhone and Android. Android is hundreds, if not thousands, of different companies struggling to make the best phone. While the only similarity is that they all use the same base operating system. It's the same with Windows and Mac. If you want to run Mac OS, you have to give Apple a few £1,000 to buy one of their computers. If you want to run Windows, you can buy a laptop from thousands of different companies. You can build a computer out of parts from thousands of different companies. Apple wins because of exclusivity, because they say, if you do not give us all of your money, you cannot use our software. And then it's like,
and it's so closed-ended, like you,
and
they're
then
not compatible with anything else. If you got an Apple product in the ecosystem, so you better fucking stay in the ecosystem.
That's the ecosystem.
Around.
That's the thing. This ecosystem, what they've done, and I mean, it's fucking clever. Like, you cannot deny that it's clever. Is that Apple reels you in so much that you can't leave. In the same way, like, if you look at, in the creative industry, right? I say audio engineering and video editing are like two of the biggest like sectors in the creative industry, right? In both of those industries, within every professional company in the world, there is at least a large majority of people in those industries who have been conditioned to use Apple products to do those things. I edit using Final Cut Pro, therefore I must buy a MacBook or a Mac every few years. I make music on Logic, therefore I must buy a new Mac every few years. I have an iPhone, I have AirPods, I have fucking, I don't even know, I have an Apple TV, whatever the fuck Apple does. Therefore, I must still buy new Macs or MacBooks or whatever, and vice versa. You're like, oh, I have everything else, therefore I must buy an iPhone. Then you buy that iPhone, you're like, then your MacBook's running out. You're like, oh, I must buy a MacBook. It's an endless cycle, and that's how they do it. Whereas with these other companies, with the phone companies, I've got a Samsung. If in a year's time when my contract runs out, I'm like, oh, I want to still be able to access all the same shit, but I don't want to be with Samsung anymore. I can do that. I can just buy there's so many Android companies. I can do that, no detriment to myself. But Apple, it doesn't work that way, and that's their catch. That's how they do it, and no one is calling them out on their bullshit because no one can. Like, that's why they're the fucking. I didn't know they're the biggest company in the world, but that's how they do it.
In the history of the world.
In the history of the world,
There's never been
Apple.
I think it's because they design good fucking products. Regardless of how you feel about them, they're going to be high quality. Or it's not even, individual products might be shit, but the branding, the marketing is such a thing where you buy an iPhone, it's a status symbol. Oh, he's got the new iPhone. The reason they change the iPhones with new colours every year is not because they're like, oh, it's a new design here. So you can show your new iPhone, and even if it looks the same as last year's, you can go, this is a
like
new
that
one.
shitty camera thing. It's just so you could tell it apart from the year previously.
Yeah.
So you see someone holding it, you're like, okay, they've got the newest
What
one.
you mean where it's got like
the three cameras?
The three,
Yeah.
four,
Or there's like a
five.
slightly new tint of black, and they go, oh, he's got the 11S instead of the 11. Like, that's such a big thing. At least a few years. I think people now are more like, oh, I'll buy a phone. The craze has kind of died down of a new phone every year. Because that was a thing for a while. People were like, oh, I got to upgrade. Now people are like 3-4 years because phones are good and they stay good. But the leaps in technology aren't so great now.
Yeah.
There's a little improvements
so like
every year.
iPhone 6 Plus are all pretty much, like, they're all very usable.
Yeah, I mean the thing is with iPhones, with the big scandal, I think either late last year or early this year, I can't fucking remember when it was like that they are like iPhones are designed to slow down your processor over time. So a phone over time essentially either needs to divert power from the battery in order to keep 100% functionality, or divert power from the functionality in order to keep a long battery life. And iPhones were built to do the processor thing but not tell you. So you should have a choice. With a phone, you have to, and it's in the settings of iPhones, but it didn't tell anyone. You're allowed as a consumer to have a choice between, I either want my phone to work at like perfect functionality for 5 years, but get like, it's 9 hours, now it's 8 hours, 7 hours battery life, or vice versa. And I mean, you could ask anyone, I reckon they'd say they'd rather have shorter battery life and make it work better. But they didn't give you that. Well, they did give you that choice. They didn't fucking tell anyone. And that's that whole thing. It says in like iPhone settings, like, oh, what's your battery like life at the moment? You can like change it, where it says like, oh, your battery is like 60% of what it was when you bought it, or some shit, something like that. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone, but I mean, it's a weird, like, they make all this money off of, oh, we make the most consumer-friendly products, but are they even really the most consumer-friendly products?
I'd say they are, because if you've got a lot of money and you're not very tech savvy and you're looking to buy a phone, if you go into the Android market, there's loads of different ones to go through. You're gonna have to watch like videos comparing them. You're gonna have to like, look into their like different specs and stuff. Whereas Apple, again, it could just be the branding, but you know, if you're buying an Apple phone, it's just you know what you're buying.
Go, this is a shit phone.
Yeah, you buy it and it might not be the best at what you need it for, but it's going to be an all-round decent phone.
I know what you mean.
Quality.
I suppose when you're comparing, like, for me, if I'm buying a new Android phone, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, oh, this got more gigs of RAM. This got a newer processor, etc. But I suppose then people in the Apple ecosystem, it's like, oh, the number is higher on this one. Oh, this one's a 7 instead of a 6. It's
Apple
better.
figured out. Steve Jobs figured out very early on when computers were still open source and you built the computer yourself in the sense that you had to get the board, you had to I don't know shit about it, but attach it all. He went, people just want something that fucking works and they can use. People who are buying an iPhone don't go, oh, it's got 1.2 gigahertz Snapdragon or whatever. They go, big camera, big screen, big camera, looks pretty, it works. Steve Jobs was so far, if without Steve Jobs, the way we would be looking at computers would be completely different. He turned it into an art form. He turned, buy this beautiful phone. Yeah. And it's gonna make your family life better. It's gonna make this better, and it connects to your emotions rather than stats. Yeah. Because obviously Silicon Valley, it's run by nerds, and nerds like how fucking numbers sound. They're like, oh shit, this is gonna be 20% faster than last year's model. This is gonna be this. They want stats and proof. Whereas your everyday fucking Joe just wants to be told, this is going to take really pretty pictures and the battery life is going to be good. Yeah. And that's what Steve Jobs sold. He sold the idea of, this is going to make your family life better. Your wife will not leave you if you play with this iPod. It's a lifestyle product rather than an information. Because computers were obviously just no one was really playing games on computers. No one was messing around with computers. It was work for a long time. And maybe it would have eventually turned into entertainment, and probably would, because TV is entertainment and it's similar, but I think Steve Jobs without Steve Jobs, we'd be 20 years behind in terms of how we culturally view.
Yeah. Didn't they make like the first touchscreen phone?
Well, the
iPhone was ahead of every motherfucker.
I mean,
it was BlackBerry and iPhone, that was it.
We weren't like the age at the time where we could properly appreciate it, but I don't think we really understand quite how like revolutionary that thing was. I mean, that was like, it was, you had a brick phone, you had a BlackBerry, or you had an iPhone. And the iPhone, it was iPhone best, BlackBerry good, brick phone bad.
So now there's a lot of debate. There's no definitive best phone.
I mean, that's the thing. Jake's so right on that, because the way I think about it is if you went back to that time, you look at the fact that people who are in business work, they've gone from pretty much their whole lives, everything is paperwork. Oh, now we have a computer that does the paperwork for us. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer writing, I'm typing, or whatever, however the transition was. Now it's, it was like, you spoke, I'm sure you spoke to anyone that time. They liked the idea of having something faster and nicer. But like, that meant bigger and bulkier and louder, and the idea of technology being sleek and beautiful and everything was essentially created by Steve Jobs and the entertainment industry, the film industry. I mean, it all comes from like shit like fucking Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever, where it was like, oh, we're gonna, even though they weren't real, like, imagine if you just had a floating screen in front of you and you could just tap it and it did what you wanted. It was this idea of, oh, that's so far in the future, haha, we're gonna stick that in our films. And essentially Steve Jobs was the man that said, I can't do that straight away, but I'm gonna give you the prettiest thing I can this year, and then next year I'm gonna give you the prettiest thing I can. I'm gonna move you slower and slower towards it.
And I think another thing is, when we look at the evolution of TVs, people go, oh, they got more beautiful as time went on. They were these big box things and they got slimmer and sleek. Because obviously TVs far predate any modern computer in the way we know it. And we look at them now, we go, oh, they were trying to get it more beautiful, because that's the way we look at technology now. It sits in your home beautifully. But no, they were trying to make it take up less fucking space. And there is a difference there. Yeah. It was functionality, how big can you make the screen and how thin can it be so it doesn't take up too much space. Yeah. So it wasn't even technology the way Steve Jobs saw it was, this is going to be a part of your life, and it's because he wasn't even a designer, he was just a fucking hippie who did not know how to code or build computers. He saw it in order to integrate something into your life as crazy as a computer, I think it has to be beautiful. It has to be seamless, because the designs are seamless on them. I fucking hate gaming laptops when it's fucking Razer and it just sticks out in your eye, but I want it to fit into my life. Because I also think there's something kind of like people shit on computers even now. It's like taboo. It's like, oh, you're obsessed with technology, you're like this and that. And the less obstructive it is to your vision and the way you do things, because it's so seamlessly a part. If you're on a Mac, it just feels... That is a lot of it just fucking bullshit advertising. Like, oh, it just works. It's seamless.
But no, it is to an extent bullshit advertising. But I mean, I'm sure you ask anyone like what they would rather have, why they pick Mac over PC, why they pick one or the other. And as someone that owns both next to each other on my exact same desk and uses them like 5 minutes apart, 1 minute I'm on my PC, the next I'm on my MacBook, I can tell you there's a few things that sets them apart in very like discrete ways that just make your life like easier. The main one being, you go on any Windows computer, you go on any Windows laptop, you open up taskbars, you open up search bars, you look on essentially home screens, anything, they're trying to sell you shit. There's advertising, Candy Crush, click here, shit like that. You go on your Windows computer, you click in the bottom left, it brings up the search bar. It's like oh, here's shit. Oh, you Xbox, you want to play Xbox, shit like that. MacBook doesn't have any of that. It's a clean, nice screen. They give you as little bezels as possible, as little shit obstructing the pretty image you put in the background, and they give you a trackpad on the MacBook that's like, hey, you learn this in 5 minutes, look, you're doing all cool swipey things and whatnot. And I suppose Windows just hasn't gone in that direction. And I mean, Windows has had so many fucking flops over the years. I don't know if you lot really remember. I mean, sure you remember, but how garbage Windows 8 was. Windows 8 was a fucking mess. I remember I didn't even have a PC at the time. My dad had a Windows 8 laptop. I had a Chromebook, so it didn't really affect me. But that Windows 8 laptop was the most fucking disgusting thing I'd ever seen. And that has been Windows trying to... I mean, you say it's Apple copying other people, but I mean, if you look at the trends in the tech industry, Apple doesn't copy. They wait for something to become... They wait till they can
do it fucking perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. They do. You've got all these companies like, oh, look at our folding phones. When's Apple going to make a folding phone? They're going to make a folding phone when folding phones are fucking good, and they're going to come in with the best fucking folding phone.
Windows 8 would have worked fine if it was an optional prototype. Try this new crazy little fucking operating system we have.
Yeah.
Instead of going, let's commit to it fully.
Yeah.
I think Apple in recent years have become... As the company matures, it's worth $2 trillion, they've become more tentative in how they... Because everyone says, oh, Apple isn't innovating anymore. When you're worth $2 trillion, you're the market leader, everyone's coming for your arse. You've got every product has to be good. It doesn't have to be fucking life-changing. It doesn't have to be the new thing. It just has to be really fucking good.
Yeah, because if they make like a little mistake, they get very heavily criticised. Like, do you remember that was like, there's that £1,000 TV stand? Oh. And that's a massive meme for ages. But if Huawei did that, no one would care.
No, but the meme about that, the reason that was a thing, I don't know if you really know about that. Not rather than a TV, that's a computer monitor. It's called the Pro Display XDR or some shit like that, right? That was that's an 8K computer monitor. So I don't even know if you motherfuckers have even seen 8K, right? I haven't either, but 8K, I'm assuming that is some mad bullshit to see. I've barely even seen 4K. 8K, that's fucking double,
mate. Samuel Jackson.
You know what I mean?
Mad bullshit to see.
That's some mad bullshit to see. Snakes on this plane. But like, that was a whole like meme. Or I don't even know if it's 8K, it was like 5K. It was like huge. It was like a really high number. And it's like, oh, it's Apple overpricing their products again. It's a £5,000 monitor, and then the stand is an extra £1,000. Putting that shit at $6,000 for a computer monitor. Everyone going, $6,000 for a computer monitor? What are you, fucking stupid? And then all it takes is 20 seconds of research to realise that at that level of computer monitor, when you're going for that like intricate colour,
an extra case and nothing.
No, but what I'm saying is like, at that level, when you're going for that level of like picture quality and whatnot, from any other company, those shits are like 15 grand for a computer monitor. It's just because it's Apple, people see the high price tag and they're like, oh, that's dumb.
Because they market it as, this isn't a consumer PC really. If you're spending you're designing something, you're making something, and you go, oh.
That's Apple's like own, their good thing working
against. Their Mac Pro is some fucking supercomputer.
It's like 50 grand.
Yeah.
50k.
And people still look at it and go, oh, why is the stand so expensive? If the film studio needs to buy this to edit a fucking film on, they do not give a shit how much the stand costs. And Apple knows they don't give a shit how much the stand costs.
Make the stand more expensive.
They're not going to go, yeah.
But I think the meme with that, Ollie's right. It's like, I'm going to go on stage and reveal this fucking piece of metal that's 999 quid. Like, it is dumb that it wasn't just, let's slap on an extra K to the monitor and include it with it. No one would have cared.
Yeah.
It's that they sold it separately. It's like the wheels as well. I don't know if you heard about this.
No.
The Mac Pro, which is a massive computer, you can buy... I think like £800 wheels for it. I can't remember how much they are, but they are a fuck ton of money just for wheels. Wheels on this Mac Pro. For wheels, £800 or some shit like that for wheels.
I guess it could be, from a business point of view, it could be like insurance. Because if you design wheels, even if they're really well designed, it's still going to fall over a fair amount if you're wheeling it about. And people are going to be able to get warranty like refunds on that. You can pay a lot of money out, so that could just be a hidden way of getting like a warranty fee in there.
Well, and also, I reckon one of the things they did with making those 800 quid wheels, I'm going to say 800. I might check it after and realise it's some way less figure, but whatever. It was a dumb amount for fucking pieces of metal. Is that they realised that by making wheels for a 50 grand computer, they're making a product that's already being bought by a very small audience. Not many people are buying a Mac Pro. And then the idea of wheels for a Mac Pro, again, however they price it, is a very niche market.
Yeah.
So they're getting a niche market for a niche market. You make something that's memeable. Hey, look, these wheels are 800 quid. You're at least ensuring that people are going to buy them for the haha value. You know, I'm rich, I'm going to buy these £800 wheels. You know what I mean? Like, if they price them at 20 quid, how many people are going to fucking buy them? You know what I mean? It would be an option that everyone clicks off for them. I don't need wheels on my computer. You know what I mean?
I don't know, if it was £20 and you're already spending like £800 on the computer, you'll be like, sure, why not? Throw some wheels in there.
You're a master consumer.
Maybe.
This man's a consumer.
You'd have 500 in the bank. Extra 20 for the 800.
This man's talking about how 20 for wheels is fine when he said he had 12 quid.
Quiet.
Jesus, man. Well, I think that's a good opportunity to take a little break. I'm gonna get some more water, and we'll be back in a minute. Right, we're back from our break. All got new drinks, and I had something on the tip of my tongue, top of my mind. I was wondering what your guys' opinions are on eating bogies.
I'll take the lead with the more controversial one, I'd say. I think it's great.
Okay.
I think it's easy disposal. You don't always have a tissue on hand.
Okay.
If you do it when no one sees, that's a trick. You do it when no one sees, no one's disgusted by it.
Right.
The taste isn't too bad.
It's sticky bacteria.
It's really not though.
It is.
It's its own thing. It's mucus. It might have bacteria in it.
Cool. Well, you're not supposed to sneeze.
And it goes into your digestive system in
People say
pretty much
you're
a vat
supposed
of
to cover your
acid.
mouth.
But I suppose you don't sneeze on other people because you don't want to give what you have to them. If you retake it, you're not exactly giving it to them, are you? You're giving it to yourself and you already have it.
I think. not nutritious.
Well, no, I just think
It's easy disposable, I think.
I just think it's kind
Just
of
use a tissue and then put
yeah.
that tissue
I
in the
got
bin.
tissues. I'm
If you
fine.
don't have a tissue,
Then
you're out and about.
into your arm.
I think arm's worse.
I like
How,
that shit.
you think
I like-
arm's
I like-
worse
I like
than
the-
dabbing?
I think having it in your clothes is worse than just having it back in your body.
No, I disagree. I think I'd.
You want to shit out your mucus.
Yeah, it just doesn't really.
You've lost here, Ollie.
Yeah, I
And
think
for that reason, I'm out.
You're not dropping facts. You're not dropping facts.
For
You're
that
just,
reason-
you're just saying I think it's disgusting.
That is a
thought
fact.
We're going
I think that is a
venture
fact.
field. That's an opinion.
Is it an opinion? Why don't we get some stats up on how many people think fucking eating your boogers
Oh, so
is
the
disgusting?
masses' opinion is a fact, is it now?
yes.
Well, what's your fact? What was your fact?
My fact is, you go out of your body, goes into your body, easy disposal.
Well, easy disposable in the sense you can't see it anymore. It's still in your body. It's still moving around. Who knows what untold damage it could be doing? You got a nose.
Okay, you
earlier.
think it's disgusting. You think it's disgusting.
Yeah.
You'd rather I wipe it somewhere, or would you rather keep it
No,
self-contained?
I actually would rather you use a tissue. Put the tissue in the bin.
You
and
don't
wash
have a
your hands.
tissue scenario. You don't have a tissue.
Hmm.
You'd rather I wipe it on
It
the
shouldn't
surface.
be on your skin. No, you're not.
No,
wiping
yeah,
it
not on my
surface.
skin. I'm not saying on my skin.
Well, you're picking your nose.
Yeah,
That's on your skin, is it not?
in your mouth then. It then goes in your mouth.
What happens to this finger though?
It gets washed in your mouth. You get it all off.
It gets washed in your mouth.
It doesn't go all
That's
off.
the one you're going for.
It doesn't get it. It gets it all off. It doesn't just stay on your
You
finger.
don't think there's any leftover boogie residue? You think boogie?
Yo,
I'll show you some boogie residue.
that sounds like a really good like dance group, like
Boogie residue.
like a high school dance group. We are the Boogie Residue.
Kind of makes sense as well because it's like what's left of the boogie era, you know.
Yeah, with the Boogie Residue. I don't think that's why it makes sense, but thank you anyway, Ollie. It just sounds cool. You know how you like sometimes you come out with something you're like, wow, that'd be a really good band name. You know, like.
The thing is,
fucking-
there's too many band names. There's too many like opening lines. There's too many stuff like that. But it's not enough content. There's not enough full fat filler. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
I don't know what that means, Ollie.
People always come up with like, oh, a good song name would be this, or a good band name would be
Because
this.
it's easy.
But then there's not enough actual like content to fill up that stuff.
What are you talking about?
Like people are a lot easier coming up with band names and song names and like
It's
the little
just
signature twists and actual content.
I think
and
it's
actual
just a
filler.
funny reference to popular culture and
Yeah.
how things name things. I don't think there needs to be any artistic endeavour behind those things.
Always
I'm going on
happens
the
there is.
warpath
Always
for
happens
Ollie
there
for
is.
some reason.
Yes.
No, Ollie, you're wrong and you're stupid.
I don't know. I agree with you to an extent. I think people like. I suppose it's much more hard work coming up with lyrics to the song than the title of a song. Because I could look at anything and be like, wow, that'd be a cool title of a song. Double Chocolate will be the cool title of a song. It'd be a cool title of a cool white boy like chill song, Double Chocolate. But what's the content of that song? What?
Well, I know what it would be. It'd be the song Chocolate by the 1975 played over each other in slightly different timings.
Double Chocolate. Double Chocolate, bro. I mean, I'm not really a 1975 fan, so I don't know if I can. I'm sure the year was great, but just the band, I'm not a. God, that was fucking corny. I'm not a big fan.
Would the year really
Three
be great?
good songs ish.
I don't know.
I don't know a lot about.
I don't know. My parents were alive, so I'm sure it was great.
Wow,
They're always
that's
talking
pretty
about how great it was before I was born.
wholesome. Yeah, I bet.
I don't think they mean because of the era, though. I think they just mean, because I'm fat. Anyway.
For our audio listeners, Johnny is incredibly fat.
Why are you American telling everyone that I'm fat? Is
We
that
were talking about this earlier.
stereotypical?
When you do an impression of someone, or you're like referencing something, you always put an American accent on it. So if you're making fun of someone, if Jake said like, "Oh, what are burgers?" you'd go, "What are burgers?" or something.
Yeah.
You always put an American
Oh, what a
accent.
burger!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I
I
get
don't
you.
know why that is.
I feel like
we mock Americans to such a degree that
I think it's
everything they say is.
I think it's because Americans are just us, but not quite as good.
Newer.
Like I'm not
They're a
even
new
gonna,
culture.
not even as meant as shade.
It's not even the new culture. They tell you the Americans are the new culture because they only listen.
No,
to
a new
themselves.
culture. I mean, like they are historically speaking, they're just an experiment. Like we went over there. They've been there for like not that long.
Yeah, but then
and they've
so
just
are
done
Australia. I'd
I guess
prefer
so, I guess so.
Australians.
But they're not as influential, so they're not as like an important experiment type thing.
I mean, there's this whole focus on
The
like
Americans tell you they're more important than they are. I think.
there's such a huge focus in the world on England, America, and China, but
Is it, or is it just because we?
I think Russia as
fucking live
well.
here?
I feel like
Russia's got a lot of focus.
yeah, no, you might have a point there.
Because
But,
I'm
like,
pretty sure people in fucking Indonesia, like they're
There's
not
massive
thinking about
focus
the
on
English
India
people.
or
Yeah,
something.
We're not
Indonesian-
we're not travelled enough to have this fucking conversation because we literally know nothing other than where we live and the people
That's true.
around.
That's true, but I'd love to visit more of Europe. I think Europe is underrated. Everyone, they're like, oh, I'm got to go abroad, got to go to Egypt, America, Australia, some shit like that. I'd much rather do a little tour of Europe.
Well, that's because you're a white supremacist.
I know.
Everyone knows this.
For our audio listeners, no.
To be fair, I've only been in Europe. I've only been France, Belgium, and Portugal, and
Really?
Switzerland, but barely.
I've only been Spain and France. That's it.
What in the world?
In Europe, and the only place outside of Europe I've been is America. That's it.
Man's been around.
Oh, to be
He's
fair,
well travelled. He can talk.
I'm
about
well travelled.
to be fair, I've been Wales and Scotland, but I kind of consider them part
Yeah, I
of.
consider that England basically.
Yeah.
But no, I've the most exotic holiday I've had was America. I haven't really
I
travelled.
went to America when I was really young.
I was 13 when I went.
It's a bit hot.
I went to California.
I've been to Egypt, Costa Rica, Italy, Germany, France.
Oh my god,
I don't really fucking know, man.
that's a lot of
It's been
places.
too many places
Costa
to
Rica is
remember.
the fucking prettiest place on earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to be eating beans out there in the fucking jungle.
I'd imagine Egypt wouldn't actually be nice when you're there. I imagine
The-
the idea
the
of it's
Egyptian
nice, but when
cities
you're
are
there,
like-
it's like
Stop talking to me, bro. They'll follow you for 5 blocks trying to help you cross the road. I'm not crossing this road, man.
no, I mean like just the heat alone.
No, I found American the heat, the Florida humidity more unbearable than the Egyptian heat. It's not so bad in
I
Egypt.
find like ancient
because
Egyptian.
it's dry as shit in Egypt, isn't it? It's not so fucking.
I mean,
the
what-
summer here is rough because it's.
I guess when we think of Egypt, we think ancient
Pyramids of Giza
Egypt.
type thing, right?
Yeah, but that's just like
yeah, that's
Listen, the three of us, we're the Pyramid of Giza.
I think there's more than 3, but thank you anyway. Oh, you mean the 3 sides?
One. Oh yeah.
But there's 4
I
sides.
only ever see one side
the
of the
triangle
pyramid.
of Giza.
The triangle.
Right, yeah, because the pyramid is the
Well, no, a pyramid can
How
be any.
dare you make
have
but
you
the,
have
but the pyramids
minimum
are,
of 3 base.
but the pyramids of Giza are 4-sided.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I would like to go though. I think ancient Egyptian culture is really fascinating. I think it's like the coolest.
Or I'd have to say Greek personally, but yeah.
Yeah, but I suppose Greek is like based more on mythology and stuff, I guess, is what I think of. Whereas when I think of Egypt, I think of actual, like the actual pharaohs that lived and died and died and were buried in, and the big
They
fucking
lived and
sphinxes.
died.
You know, they lived and died and died. I was gonna say died like and were buried in the pyramids and shit like that. I think that's fascinating that it was like
Yeah.
the real life element of it. I suppose where like Greek is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, like, just mythology. I think Greek is the coolest.
Oh yeah, but when we go mythology, like, I mean, I think Norse mythology is really cool, but you know you go to
Germans
any
got some cool little fucking tales.
you go to some Nordic
Like goblins and
countries.
shit.
Nordic countries are fucking sick though. Like I would love to be, you know, like Iceland or some shit like that. I'd love to go
live
there.
there though.
No, not live there, but like visit. I'd love to go visit Iceland. I know, mate. I don't know what other countries are Icelandic like. Fucking Finland, shit like that. Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't take geography. Just out myself as a complete fucking dumbass right now.
You already did that.
Wow,
You opened your mouth, as we all have done.
as we all have done.
We've all outed ourselves as idiots.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But
That was our last podcast.
that was the last podcast. Well, Jake's out of that.
Oh, yeah. So this is your debut.
It's your debut, technically.
Anything you want to say to the fans, the new fans?
So good to be here, guys. I'm sure to our 15 listeners. you
15. That's generous.
are hanging on my every word.
That is generous. I mean, we did another podcast, but it was a bit of a disaster. I might post it if I get the courage. I'm not sure if I got the courage
Why?
though. It's really
It's
bad.
I want to
entertainment.
listen to it first. Just
I might like post it with like, you know, like the Benny Hill music in the background. You know, like,
The
just for
first
the
bit
whole
doesn't
thing.
need the Benny Hill music. The second.
Or what the last 4
Yeah,
minutes
yeah.
where Ollie's going.
I don't remember. For the record, I do not remember this one bit.
No, I might just post it. I just wish I had the video because it was so funny. It was just you like falling over the table, going like, oh fucking. It was hilarious. No, I feel like this is a lot kind of probably a lot easier to listen to. I was just like talking about shit. Not actual shit. We didn't play Just Dance.
We didn't.
We were going to play Just Dance.
When were we going to do that?
At my house, if we went to mine, but then we didn't go to mine. And we were going to do a play along with like Viva La Vida and
Oh, yeah.
shit.
We could always do a Ring My Bell championship, you know? Just saying.
Maybe if I
I'd
got it in
only
me.
play it if we had the copy of Michael Jackson here, so I could fucking murder you two.
You are insane at Michael Jackson. I don't know if you guys have played the Michael Jackson experience on the Wii, but Jake is fucking crazy at it. Like, it's actually
I'll
insane.
take someone's soul in that game. 5 stars every single time.
Like,
Thriller on inhuman difficulty.
Who do you reckon's better, you or Luke?
On Just Dance, he would destroy me, but Michael Jackson, there's no one on this earth. Oh, not even Michael could defeat him in that game. Or in real life.
If you roast him to death.
Yeah,
Just
if he roast
he's
him
got a
to
hologram, hasn't he?
to... True.
I would
In South
murder-
Park. Allegedly.
Blanket,
God.
come here, blanket.
We were actually watching some Michael Jackson live performances in our little break. And as someone that has never actually sat there and watched any of his live performances, it's quite incredible. He's a very talented man. Well, he was a very talented man.
We were watching late in his life, like 2001, and he was still fucking...
Yeah, it was
the
like-
stage presence that man has. Some people, you just fucking notice them, whatever they're doing. They just... It's not even like they're louder in their movements or particularly... There's just like an efficiency which comes with confidence in anything you're doing.
You could tell
a
he...
smoothness
yeah.
almost.
You could tell he just has...
Yeah. He knows as well. When they know, it's so much more magical because it's like they're a part of the experience with you.
Yeah.
When they pull up on stage and he puts a little fedora on, you're like, this guy knows he's the shit, bro.
He knows he has that whole room, like... It's fucking...
Balls deep in Macaulay Culkin and then he's just dropping that shit. What a life, man.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. He's turned into Conor McGregor there. Allegedly. That was so bad. I can't do McGregor.
Go on, Jake.
Go on, Jake. Jake does a banging McGregor impression. Come on.
No.
For the fans.
At least get the JP out one. The JP
Come on,
one.
for the fans. Come on.
Too shy.
Not even once. Not for the fans.
No.
No?
What about for the OnlyFans?
That's coming later.
Maybe for the OnlyFans.
Maybe for the OnlyFans.
Listen, if you're asking if I'd like to take my clothes off and dance for the fans of the podcast, I most certainly would, and I would do it for free. I'll have you know.
See, we got it and barely even had to ask. That's quite impressive. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that result. Wow.
Dramatic.
So, speaking of Conor McGregor, as a MMA novice as I am, I don't mean about playing it, I can do that for shit, but like watching it and like learning about it and stuff, you're pretty much the master. So
I am.
would you like to give the audience from home a little explanation of what you do in relation to MMA?
No.
No.
But I would like to say, as I was talking about efficiency, when performers know they're the shit, I want to go back to performers, and Steve Jobs ties into this also. When Steve Jobs is announcing a product on stage, he knows it's going to be iconic.
Okay.
There's people doing iconic things, they seem to know it while it's happening. And that the thing that gets the fans so hyped and maybe makes that thing iconic is that it's like a weird kind of inverse thing that they knew it was going to be iconic as well. When Conor McGregor fights, there is a fluidity to that man's movements where every single movement is a micro adjustment where he knows he's going to beat the shit out of you.
Okay.
But then when he loses, that makes it worse. Because he comes out cocky, he does like the hand behind the head walk, he does like goes to chin out. But then he loses and he says it's only business, and you're like,
But isn't
I see.
But isn't him being cocky like his thing?
That's his thing, but it works when he wins, but then it fails miserably when he loses. Which
suppose
admittedly doesn't do
It
as
does
much as he
lose some of
wins,
the
but-
magic, but it also makes it more human, which can add to in certain situations. Like,
Yeah.
I agree.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, sorry viewers. I get a bit
Viewers.
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 Audio listeners don't you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying audio listeners. It's so dorky.
I showed Dorky audio listeners. Ooh.
Yeah, I think you know when you're looking at the best of a generation, you know when you're seeing someone special, like you see it, if something appears on TV, we're so trained to filter bullshit out, but when something pops up, or you click on a video and you just go, this speaks to me on such a different level, and that's because you're seeing a human being do a really human being thing. I think that's all an icon ever is, because they can't be doing anything that you can't wrap your head around, so you have to understand it on such a level, and so intuitively, that's what makes something iconic. I want to talk about what makes things iconic.
What makes things iconic?
Yeah, like...
What do you mean? What do you mean by iconic? Are you talking what makes
just
anything
a symbol
iconic?
of humanity. When you see something that goes like, that's a human doing something fucking human as shit, like Michael Jackson when he first did the moonwalk, like these things that just stick in
I
your...
wouldn't say that's human as shit. I'd say human means like normal human. I don't think most people can do a moonwalk. I wouldn't call that a human moment. I'd call that like a above.
No,
like,
I didn't mean any
going
human
above
would be
the
able
norm.
to... I think that is a human moment going above the norm, because we...
by definition,
The culture's
it's not.
looking up. The culture... What do you mean it's not? People
Well, because
aim
most
upwards,
people aren't above the norm.
but they aim upwards, and when you see something above you, be it God or Michael Jackson moonwalking above you in 1985, there's something so connecting about that. Like, I think if you see someone do something cool and you go, well, I can't do that, I can't connect with that, it's possibility.
Yeah.
And anything iconic is a possibility. It's going, that's what a human being can do. I don't think I look at fucking someone cleaning a toilet or me having to like wipe my shit stains off or some shit and go, well, this is an iconic human moment.
Yeah.
I would not say that.
Well, no, iconic, I suppose, is about inspiration. Like, maybe what you're talking about. It is a human moment, because if you watch someone do something that you previously thought was inhuman, but is humanized by, is humanized by watching someone do it, and I suppose it's inspiring to learn how to do it yourself. I guess it kind of, if
When
you
you're
don't
watching a human do something,
exactly, that makes
we're
it
all
a human.
connected by...
If a human can do it, it makes it a human moment, surely.
Yeah, it makes it not even a... It's not physically can you do this thing, it's... I just feel connected to other people, even if they're doing something amazing and I can't do it. It's just such a... We're all connected by these possibilities, these dreams, and seeing someone actually do something like that, it's such a liberating... It's such a childlike moment of like, the possibilities are endless. When you see someone do something incredible, when you see a video of someone walking on the moon or whatever, it's like, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Like, it just speaks to you.
Well, I suppose like that's how we make advances. I mean, I suppose we've never really had. I don't know what I like. I think a specific moment. Well, like before we like evolved to humans, like I mean, fucking apes putting what stone to stone or stick to stick to make fire, or like however they did it, or cavemen.
Flint and steel.
You say
Yeah.
lighter.
No, but you know what I mean, right? Like, however they did it, I mean, even though they couldn't perceive it, if they could, it would have been everyone around going, "Oh, that's not a Neanderthal moment. We can't do that." But that's how like society is, not society, but that's how we develop, is by breaking the boundaries. If we didn't have people that have goals that are bigger than humanity, or we want to go to Mars, or we want to leave the solar system, we want to conquer the universe, if there weren't motherfuckers thinking that, it would never happen. And the only reason it will ever happen, not in our lifetimes, but the only reason it will ever happen is people that we think aren't doing human moments by, oh, let's walk on the moon, now we're going to go to Mars, now we're going to go to Jupiter, whatever. It's a human...
Yeah, there's a resource video on that. So there used to be the Neanderthals, right?
Yeah.
They were bigger than us, stronger than us, smarter than us, just better in every way.
Mm-hmm.
And they think the main reason they went extinct and we didn't was because humans would just sail out into the sea and try and find land. Whereas they would be sensible, they'd say, realistically, we're going to die at sea, we're not going to find anything, no point going. Humans would say, fuck it, full sail ahead, try and find another island.
Yeah.
And they did, and they found Europe, and they found all the other islands, and that's why we survived and they didn't. So it's literally...
That is such a fucking cool theory.
That is
Yeah.
insane.
I know.
We're literally the fuck it animal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but there's like, when you think
That's why
about...
the suicide rate's so high. People just be like,
Yeah, well, why
fuck
not?
it.
I suppose when you think
We're
about
impulsive
like...
things.
I suppose when you think about, like, in that relation, this like, oh, we're gonna do it and it's gonna work, or we're gonna die trying. Like, there's so many moments through history like that. I mean, if you look at like shuttle launches and things like that, and you look at, I mean, shuttles have fucking, I can't remember what the one was that went up like a few kilometers in the air and then exploded or some shit like that. You imagine, you're right, any other society would have seen that shit and gone, yep, never fucking getting in a rocket again. I do not want to explode without even leaving the atmosphere. But humans are like, nah, all right. Little memorial for the guys that died. And it's like, I'm sure like less than a couple of years later, we were up there again, and we're still up there now.
Yeah.
And like, that's how we innovate as a species, is this idea that like, we can't be complacent in what we have now. We can't be complacent.
Willingness to die trying something.
I don't think it's a coincidence that humans have like the biggest dick size compared to other apes. Like, I really think psychologically there's a component of like, you know, when your dick's just looking bigger someday. Like, you wake up and you're like, fuck it, I've got a big dick.
This conversation's really ascending. It's just really just gone up.
I'll tie it back in. I'll tie it up with some bullshit. But those moments where you go, I got a big dick. Let's see what we can do here. Like, there's a confidence that comes with it.
And metaphorically speaking, or just you look down?
No, like, physically, metaphorically, whatever. I think directly tied with your serotonin is how you feel about your penis in that moment, or your sex drive in that moment. I think no, I'm not going from that angle. Humans have big dicks. That is facts. Facts. Humans have big cocks, and we always say in the culture, oh, that was a big ball, big dick moment, big like kind of testosterone moment. I think there is a component of just big sex drive, big dick. Fuck it, let's see, take some risk, because testosterone is a hormone that it's a risk-taking hormone. That's why men die. So men are like climbing on a ladder, painting a fucking. It's not stupidity. Testosterone kind of makes you say fuck it. Yeah. Because whatever your end goal's pussy. This is one theory. The theory that anything a man does in his life is maybe not directly, but eventually he's going to get either some pussy or some bussy out of it. That sex drive that is in all of us.
Amen to the bussy, am I right?
It's completely...
Well, no, when you say like, oh,
my case.
No, Jake, when you say like this idea, like, look, I have a big dick today. I suppose that can, Ollie's right. That can be like a physical or a metaphorical thing. If you pull off some crazy bullshit, you're like, oh my god, the whole world has just watched me do something fucking crazy good.
Now, if you're Michael Jackson on that stage,
you can be like,
and you know Macaulay's waiting back.
Yeah. But that's the same.
He's crying because he knows it's iconic. So,
but that's the same experience. That's the I am incredible. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, I mean, like I'm trying not to like go on too much of a tangent, but like
go on a tangent, but get to your point.
No, I meant like I've kind of been thinking about it and about how like right now, ever since entertainment became virtual visual, like entertainment has always been visual since like forever. It's either been visual or audio or a combination, or something like because it has to be, in order to be entertained, you have to have a stimulus that pleases one of your senses and makes you interested to experience more of it. And I suppose since entertainment has become, rather than I need to be in person, stood in front of this thing happening in front of me in order to be entertained, I need to be fucking at this live Shakespeare fucking thing. I need to be at the theatre. I need to watch people performing this shit. As soon as it was I can sit at home, I can sit and I can watch it on a screen, or even before that, I can now watch it on the cinema on a big screen. We've become so like increasingly over the decades, like we need to see something crazier. I need to see something like more cool in whatever situation it is. Like
your neurons get fucking numb to seeing crazy shit. Same with porn. You start off watching porn, you type up like girl with big boobies, like, oh god. Now you're watching like just 4 homeboys going in, and you're like, enough is never enough. Well, you're on page 6, and you're like, you're looking for Jesus on page 6 by the time you're that far through.
Well,
you're right
how
though.
You're
right.
Right. Yeah, it's like
chasing just stimulus.
Well, no, it's like when we think about like I can't remember how a couple of years ago it was the Tesla launch where not the Tesla, the same motherfucker SpaceX, where he launched the car into outer space and then the rocket like landed back where it came from and nothing was got rid of. That like concept of that shit would have been the most mind-blowing, incredible thing. I'm gonna sit on my phone. I can watch a fucking rocket leave the atmosphere and come back and land where it was, and it was barely a thing. Like no one cared.
Do you think that's a consequence of what we're watching, or just how much you can? Because maybe you're watching some extreme shit and something like that would become numb to you, or is it because there's just so much going on that you can't focus your blinkers onto?
Oh, definitely both.
Yeah,
Definitely both.
I mean one of the biggest.
What would you say is the biggest? So what?
I think it's stuff's getting crazier. I think that's why.
I say
There's
the
more-
opposite. I say the opposite,
crazy
man.
shit.
Really?
One at a time, focus on it. I just feel like you wake up, you go on Instagram or Twitter, and there's just fucking news. Oh, Black Panther's dead. This has gone on. This gone. Trump said this. Someone said that. It's like you cannot focus on all of it, or you'll lose your fucking mind. You do not have time in the day.
You can't be an expert on everything.
No.
Yeah, but everyone wants
Unlike
to be an
Ollie
expert
Bennett,
on
who
everything.
somehow figured it out, and me also.
No, you're right. Like we have constant stimulus from so many different. I will sit there I will sit on my computer playing a game. I'll go, I'm bored of this. I will sit back on my sofa, watch TV while looking at my phone. That's 3 fucking screens I'm looking at, and I will still be bored.
Watching a movie and you got your phone in your hand flicking, it's like, what?
It's bad. Like it's genuinely bad. It's another thing we were talking about how like it feels like we need music 24/7 to survive. Like I can't do an everyday thing. I can't fucking. I will be upstairs in my room, sat on my computer, and I'm like, oh, I want a glass of water. I will go downstairs, getting some water with like headphones on, listening to music.
Yeah, like just now, when I cycled to Tesco's to get the beer, I had headphones on. Like cycling should be fun enough by itself.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah,
and I needed
not even
headphones.
Kind of, it should be. You're cycling in a busy environment with cars going past. Your stupid fucking monkey brain should be like,
Yeah.
But for some reason, I needed extra stimulus on top of that just to.
Well, I think we
super
turned
crazy.
everything into a fucking film, and films have soundtracks. You want to be living the fucking film, do you not? When you got your headphones on,
No,
you're
I
like, this is
agree.
like a movie. It's because,
Yeah.
and people talk about, they had some relationship with a person or any human interaction, and we go, it was like something out of a film. A film should be like something out of life, because films are hyper reality, and life is obviously fucking reality.
Yeah.
So, the fact that people compare real life relationships to a movie, which is it takes one truth, one tiny truth, and stretches what that truth to see what it can become.
Yeah.
It could be like, the truth could be, these people love each other no matter what, and they'll see how far they can fucking take it. They're not thinking about that one grain that's in all of us as, you just love people more than anything. They have to, it's obviously played up theatrics, and now we play our fucking life up for theatrics. Why could I go buy bread when I could play it with some fucking Hans Zimmer soundtrack as I'm cycling down the road and I'm like Batman, bro. No, Batman should be like fucking you. Media should... Films, people should stop comparing themselves to films, is my fucking point.
But doesn't that go anti the whole iconic thing? You're supposed to aim up. You're supposed to get a very high target and try and achieve that, instead of what you're trying to achieve be brought down to your level.
Well, if it's fiction, if it's a film, I don't think that's so iconic. I think seeing real people do real things is more like, that's some human shit, bro. You can look up to them, you can find I definitely have a problem recently with this is going to sound really dorky, but abstracting, like pulling out whatever the message is of art or a medium. Because if I see a documentary about golf, I can't go, wow, this golfer's given everything to his craft. He just wants it. I go, I better start playing golf. Like, I get the fire lifted in me. Oh, I've got to get basketball. I need to be Michael Jordan. You can't take the human message in that. Maybe I'm just too young for it, but I want to go I'm going to be Michael Jordan. I'm going to dunk on someone, because that was the message.
So you can't watch a basketball
think
documentary and
you need
move
to
it over
think
to
about
MMA.
Yeah.
You have to.
You need to think why these things have spoken to you rather than taking it, because you get
know what you
turned on by it at face value. You go, this makes me feel excited. What is it in here on the screen? But what's the message behind it? What's underneath it?
I get what you mean. Like for me, I have a very kind of grounded example of that being that I sit in my room at my desk. I have my computer in front of me, and directly next to it is my piano. And I will be on YouTube. I'm bored. I'll sit there and I'll watch some incredible fucking out of this world piano player. I didn't want to say pianist on the podcast, but I think I've said it anyway. It sounds like penis, Ollie.
It does. That's quite funny, audio listeners.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll watch them and they're doing some crazy finger gymnastics, some usually Asian, doing something that just seems
6 years old.
Yeah, something that's just like so crazy and out of this world. It doesn't even seem real. And I'm not sat there going, wow, that is, what a legend, what an incredible piano player.
So I think I should do that
I'm
myself.
glancing right at my piano going, why can't I do that? Why can't I do that? And then I sit at my piano and I try and play something similar and I'm like, why am I so bad? Why am I so... It puts you down to see good things when in reality it should lift you up. And
I suppose that can be the negative side of the format of YouTube is you don't see this little Asian kid getting whipped by his father and practicing 4 hours a day. You just see... Same with all, you see Michael Jackson dancing on stage, you don't see his dad beating the shit out of him, you don't see all the troubled childhood, you see the greatness, and you go, well, why can't I have that? Like, I feel, and that's the thing that, as YouTube, as entertainment gets a lot more self-aware, they're showing you more behind the scenes, you can see behind the scenes.
Well, like vlogs and stuff, but even that is just so like...
A lot of it's fake, but I think things are definitely moving towards showing you behind the Wizard of Oz curtain. You can see the sweaty guy, like, you can see how things are done, and it ruins a lot of the illusion of things. I think the dream has been brought down for a lot of people of what is possible and what isn't, because I'm just going on a fucking tangent on this.
No, but I agree. I think one thing that I've really noticed, and it's tried to compel me to quit so many times, is social media. Like, I know you mentioned Instagram being the prime example of, like, you watch a movie, you're like, wow, that's a really good actor, I like him, he's got a pretty face, I'm going to follow him on Instagram. You do that every day. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm topless. Look, I'm really ripped. I'm with, my fans. I'm with a beautiful woman. I'm living the life of my dreams.
Sounds like my life. Right there.
Does it? But you, like, even like celebrities that don't have an actual job, that just, my job is I post pictures of myself on Instagram. It's a highlight reel. It's not a...
Yeah.
It's, it's not a day-to-day. It's this is me at my absolute best.
That's why real artists are so important now. People are really going to show you the struggle. That's why I want to go into Kanye West, because that man will show you the pain he's going through. He shows you there's TMZ photos of him in his fucking divorce. People speak of mental illness, especially on that, because that fame does not come for free. The fame does not come for free.
I agree.
Fame is something that in our current society, we live in that society. We see it. It is the pinnacle. Oh, he's famous.
Yeah.
More than rich.
It's like its own
if you're
currency
famous,
type thing.
you're higher than you're rich. You're higher up in our just fucking pyramid.
Yeah.
And nothing in life is for free. You do not get away with anything. And if you're famous, if you're at the very top, they're talking about mental illness like it's fucking... They rarely talk about mental illness, but the very few artists, because an artist's job is to express reality. And that doesn't mean express this part of reality for clout, or do I? Because I actually fucking like modern art. When they just splash some shit on it and it's like, this means angry. Okay, maybe it is fucking consumeristic bullshit. But if it's honest, I like it. If something's honest, if someone's honest with you about a really... Because there's an awkwardness in half honesty. If you're trying to have a conversation with someone about something like, oh, you're addicted to porn, you've got all these fucking problems, whatever, and you're being half true, it's kind of like embarrassing. But if you just lay it all on the table, all the disgusting parts of yourself as a human, all the little rotten bits of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a mole on my fucking leg. Like, it's so freeing and so true. Like, people need to get a taste for what's true and what isn't.
We're all so embarrassed to... It's like, oh, I can't... Like, for example, it's like, I can't... I'm really good at guitar, but I'm too scared to, sit in public and play my guitar and, charm people who are going shopping, who, in reality, if you're actually genuinely good at something and you can express your talent, like, people want that. Like, I can say from personal experience, like, I find it much more entertaining walking around shopping in town with some talented motherfucker there charming my ears rather than
just like the chatter of a crowd.
But people are so scared. I can't embarrass myself.
Especially social media, because they'll catch you, bro. You can't go up to a party and take your shirt off and jump off the table now, because there'll be photos of it the next day.
Yeah.
We enjoy ourselves less now because we're afraid
scared.
of if we look at this in a month, if someone we don't like looks at this, how can this be used against me?
We're moving closer and closer towards a culture where
Watch your back, watch your jet,
Big
watch your
Brother,
jet.
Big Brother's watching you. You know, like
That's from 1984.
1971.
1971.
That's from 1984. But like, I mean, that was like a literal interpretation of that. But it's true. I mean, I'll give you a really like recent.
And they actually told us in Darrington High School when we were on the computers, Big Brother is watching.
Yeah,
you.
that was literally on the post.
And they didn't think about the effects that might have on us.
Yeah.
We'll just scare the kids, huh?
No,
Right.
no, Jake.
The people
What
supposed to be looking after us are keeping 100% 24/7 lock on you. That's
fucking scared me, right? So earlier on, when I was with my mum round one of her mates' houses, right?
Yeah.
And we were in like a group talking, and I was like looking on my phone, and I said something really obscure. I referenced a video, right? I referenced a song or a video, right? Completely obscure, and I swear to God, I went on your computer earlier and I spoke, and then the next time I refreshed the tab, the exact video of the exact thing that I said, which is nothing to do with anything that else in your recommended, was in the top bar. And even if that is a 1 in a million coincidence, for me that's like, holy fuck, that thing has picked up my
even if
voice.
it's not real. The
it's
psychological
recognised.
effect of that is.
It's scary. I mean, I watched a
But
video.
that's the thing. If you think the amount of times you've got a video on your mind and you've refreshed and it hasn't been that video, it's probably bound to happen to someone at some point. It's
No,
bound to happen
but-
to one of the three of us.
But
so
no, one thing is, I watched a video before, which was like a live YouTube stream. If I could find it right now, if we had something to watch it on, I would. It was scary. It's like where some guy, he opens up 12 or so, like completely fresh Chrome tabs with like adverts on the page, and they're completely random adverts. And he's like holding up flashcards saying that he's going to talk about a topic that he's never spoken about in his house before, and then refresh all the tabs. And he starts going on about how much he wants dog toys. His dog has run out of dog toys. Doesn't have a dog. Doesn't need dog toys. Talks about it with his headset on, with his mic on, as if he's talking to people online. Talks about it for 40 seconds. Goes back in, closes all the tabs, reopens all the exact same websites. 14 out of 15 of them had dog toy adverts on them. That was like a live stream, so he couldn't have faked it or anything. That's fucked. Like, the fact that we as a society are okay with that there's legitimate evidence
Like
of
you're
that.
saying about being okay with it, the argument you always hear from parents or anything when you try and talk about this is, oh, if you've got nothing to hide, you have nothing to worry about. That's not the fucking point. It's like I can.
So you
put
still
anything
need
into
privacy.
anything, yeah.
Just because you have nothing to hide doesn't
So
mean you
now
don't
I'm
need
afraid to
privacy.
express myself, or even maybe think something eventually with this Neuralink thing that Elon Musk coming out with. But yeah, I don't know.
It's
Eat
scary.
arse, smoke grass.
That's the moral of the story.
That's the moral of the story.
It's all
If
been
there's anything you've
building
learned
up
from
to
this podcast, that's it.
Yeah. Well,
that. Let us suck your titties.
I mean, that goes without saying, doesn't it, Jake?
Yeah, sorry guys. My bad.
I think we've put the world to rights. So
Yeah, we've told everyone what they should be doing. We know best, obviously.
we're gonna go and have like a group crying session, and then go to sleep. So thank you for listening, and catch you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.